live. Are we live now? If you're doing like a physical motion, I'm not looking at the cameras.
Yes. Just waiting for the
Okay,
intro.
I'm recording now. So I will be quiet.
Welcome to the weekly episode of the Freelancer Codex podcast. Your host, Steven, and co-hosts Mike, Devon, and JD are all set. Join us and tweet your questions at Freelancer Codex. Find us on Facebook at Freelancer Codex, or send emails to freelancercodex@gmail.com. Strap into your javelins and let's drop in.
Welcome, freelancers, to episode 86 of the Freelancer Codex podcast, the longest running Anthem podcast on the internet. I am your host, Steve, along with my three co-hosts, Mike, Devon, and JD. And guys, I cannot believe that this is episode 86. In 1986, something cool happened. What would have happened in 1986 that we could commemorate this episode with? Let's see. I got nothing. I don't even know what happened in 1986. Mike, Devon, you guys are really old. You were alive during this time. Any notable things that happened during 1986?
It was 4. I don't know.
1985 ended.
That is true. How about we do this? Significant events. Let's see. How much things cost in 1986? No. Let's see. Dow Jones, average household price. Soviet nuclear reactor at Chernobyl explodes. That's pretty significant, considering there's a new not reality TV show or documentary on HBO about it. So there's that. So, okay. And just like Chernobyl, this episode is going to explode.
It has melted. The reactor has melted. We'll start over for you.
No, I think we'll just keep going. Just like Chernobyl, we'll cover it with a rolling dome and we'll forget it's there. And, the wildlife and the I was going to say wild plants, but that's not how you say wild plant life. The flora and the fauna are flourishing over there. So the one thing that we want to do to commemorate episode 86, we had another little Twitter contest giveaway of an item. I will show it here right quick. It is a omelet cutting board. I guess it can be any kind of cutting board. It doesn't have to specifically be an omelet cutting board, right? You can cut anything on this thing. So we've got a cutting board that we made up with one of Sev's favorite sayings from not Heart of the Swarm. Heart of the Swarm is a different game made by a different developer from the Swarm Tyrant. It says, I don't want that omelet. So we're going to do a quick giveaway for that. We put out a thing on Twitter, and all anyone had to do is respond to that, and we were going to give this thing away. So I need a quick drum roll. Mike, you always give us our sweet drum rolls. Can you give us a drum roll, please? Bulbasaur Stan. Bulbasaur Stan is the winner of this thing. We will reach out to Bulbasaur Stan, and hopefully the only stipulation we had is this had to be in the U.S., and it looks like they are tagged in the U.S. All right, so we will send this out. We'll contact Bulbasaur Stan, and they will enjoy this sweet omelet cutting board, and they can hang it up. They can do whatever they want with it. It's like that perfect size. If you have kids, you can use it to swat your kids. Put a couple holes in there. It's true. You could do that. This is the show, guys.
Oh,
Right now,
wow.
It's just kind of how we're doing it, right? Not a lot to talk about. There are some things, though, that we would like to talk about. We're going to talk about some EA Play predictions that we have coming up. JD wants to talk about some earnings reports from EA. So if you've read over, I'm sure there's been a lot of discussion on the internet about the earnings reports, what EA plans to do. So we're going to dive deep into that. But I wanted to kind of ask a more general overall question on the state of Anthem and kind of get your guys' feedback on it. Because it's something that I think we talk a lot about how to fix things in the game, what we're enjoying in the game, because I don't think 100% of the game needs to be fixed. There's a lot of things that are great about it. The traversal is really great. All they got to do is make it so we can fly all the time. But one of the things that is really on everyone's mind as of late is the loot, because that's why you play a looter shooter, is to get loot, correct? I'm not wrong in that assumption that we all want to get loot?
Correct.
All right, so question is, as gamers, people that play games a lot, we tend to really like a certain thing, and we like to carry over. For example, if you are a huge fan of Diablo 3, you really like the way the loot is delivered. You like the way enemies kind of change in there. So you kind of take those things and you say, hey, this would be really awesome in this game. But then again, sometimes we feel like if we're seeing the same old thing, we also don't like that either, right? We kind of say, hey, I've seen this before. I would like something new. Do you guys think that, the way that they're going to bring loot into Anthem, would you rather it be similar to something that you have played before, or would you rather it be something completely new that you've never seen before? And we'll let Devon answer first, because I know Devon thinks about this stuff a lot.
Oh. I need a minute to think about this.
Why?
That's enough. That's been a minute. Let's go
Mike,
now.
or if you guys, so if you guys have chime in right away. We don't have to stop and think about this too much. So Mike,
Well,
would you
did
rather
say
have
it was
something
Devon's turn
random?
first?
I know, but the Devon
I
totally.
don't believe in reinventing the wheel. I don't think that it needs to be so brand new that you can't say, oh, this is kind of like this system, or this is kind of like this system. I think that of the games that we have mentioned most on our show and compared Anthem with Diablo 3, Destiny, I guess basically those two have been kind of our baselines when we talk about looter shooters. I think that both of those games have great things that Anthem could use to bolster their loot system greatly. And I don't think that there needs to be any skirting around it to try to make it look like a different product. Gamers are intelligent. We know what systems look like and feel like, and I don't think that we are going to balk at, oh, this is very Destiny-ish, or this is very Diablo 3-ish. I don't think we're going to do that. Yes, put your own spin on it. Yes, it'll be your own flavor, but take the good things from that system that worked, implement them into the game, and I think you would see huge dividends very quickly.
And I completely agree with that. If you take the good from any system and you put it into yours with your spin on it, that would be great. But do you think that, I don't know, sometimes I get the feeling that no matter what they do, even if they create this new system where, people are going to push back against it and they're going to say, oh, it's not enough like this, it's not enough like this, it's too different like this. I almost feel like bringing in a completely new system is the only way that, they can really, make the game their own. Because otherwise, people like us will always be like,
it's okay
well,
to be
no,
wrong. It's okay
it's
to be
fine.
wrong. And you're wrong in
And
this instance
wrong.
because how can
But
you build like it is so hard to build something from the ground up, because
well,
how do you not even inadvertently take stuff from those other games? I mean,
and then that's not really what I'm saying. What I'm really saying is that if it's too much like those games, there will always be this thing that's like, oh, Anthem just borrowed everything from Diablo because they couldn't figure it out.
Anthem
So
will
it
be
always had
Fortnite, right? It'll just be Fortnite.
yeah, it would always have that stigma over it that, oh, you couldn't figure out your own thing to make it fun, so all you did was steal from Destiny, and now this is just a Destiny clone, right? And so that's kind of like where I'm coming from. It's like, how do you get away from that possibility?
I
How
think
different does it really have to be?
I think according to all copyright laws, like 80% different or something like that, or maybe 20% different. Like if you go that way, I mean, you know what I mean. But I don't think that you need to break your back over trying to make this system that is so revolutionary and so different. And I get what you're saying, that yes, you do take the good stuff, but I don't think so. I don't think that is an issue for me, and I don't think, pardon me, that they should let that become a hinge point where they can't get past, or a barrier. I think go ahead and go and take the good stuff. If it looks a little bit like it, it's still a different enough game in its makeup with what we're doing the javelins, and so I think that it's different enough that way that it wouldn't become a clone of these games that we've talked about. So I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for at least trying it. Maybe the thing that'll work is an iteration somewhere in between, kind of taking some stuff from Destiny, taking some stuff from Diablo, and then what really works and what really, kind of makes its way through is a hybrid of those things, and then you have your product. So I think that's kind of one of the nice things about a live service game is that you can allow it to be different, and you can allow it to kind of take on its own personality, I guess. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I
No, no.
sometimes I start a sentence and I don't really know where it's going to end. I just try to hopefully find my way in the
Well,
middle.
Yes.
I know Rick telling Logan B and Chad also agree that. So Rick says, I totally agree. Nothing wrong with using other game systems. And Logan says, agreed. I'm totally okay if they kind of model after other looter shooters. So JD, you had a quick thought in there.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I, I mean, I studied film in college, and one of the big things in there is that, I mean, one of the biggest things that you need to get over when you're learning how to write and everything is the fact that it is incredibly hard to create anything truly original and unlike anything that has come before it. It's basically a moot point. So a lot of people usually encourage people to do three things, which is copy, transform, and combine. You copy somebody else that was successful or something else that was successful. And it doesn't just have to be one thing, it could be multiple things. You tweak it, transform it, add things that are your own, maybe enhance certain things, maybe take away certain other things, trim the fat, and then you combine it with something else that worked somewhere else. It's like it happens in storytelling all the time. Like for example, like Star Wars is like a classic tale, but it's just told in a sci fantasy setting. Here with Anthem, they like I don't think they could create a loot system that is truly innovative. And I don't think they need to, because there are loot systems out there that work. And each loot system has its own thing, that it does really well. And I think that if BioWare really considers the parts of Anthem that people like and kind of take ideas from other loot systems and other games, and they tailor what they enhance, and what they combine with it to complement what Anthem does really well, then I feel like that would be better than them basically bending over backwards to try to create something revolutionary, because I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's no need to. There's already things out there that work.
Yeah, but I mean, when we say that there's already things out there that work, it almost feels like, well, just take this little section of the game, smash it with this story section of the game, and bada bing, bada boom, you got a game, right? I mean, we know it's not as easy as that, but I just think that there has to be something different enough about it, or else why not? If I like Diablo 3's loot system so much, I should just go play Diablo 3, right?
The originality in these cases usually ends up coming in what combination of things that you have. It's not so much like, it's like when you come up with a new dish, you didn't invent bell peppers. It's just you use bell peppers in a different way. Like that's all this is. It's basically like, yeah, it's an oversimplification. Yeah, we're taking a bunch of things, ripping things off, and just smashing them together to make something that looks good. But that's how a lot of it is done. And if it's original in its execution, that's more so the key than it being wholly original. Like, it's not like it's a house made up of some material that never existed before. It's still going to be a house made of brick and stone, or concrete, or whatever they use.
Just need to be the Taco Bell of game developers. Same 7 ingredients in everything that we make.
Oh yeah, the mono myth.
Devon, now that you've had enough time to correlate all your thoughts together into a coherent sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's look at Anthem, right? It's the loot system really is a lot like Destiny already. So we don't get weapons that pop out of things, right? We get the little icons, little glowy bits that we have to go decrypt, basically. In this case, we don't have to go to someone to decrypt it, like you do in Destiny. But it's similar, but different. We have the rarity scale, like you have in Destiny, something similar, and you also have. I don't know, it's there's so much that's similar. Like you can change your weapons now. When you're out in the game, you can change it just like you can in Destiny. You can't change everything, obviously, but you can change some things. I don't think they need to create something completely different, but I don't mind that they take bits from other games and improve them and fit them into Anthem in the way they want it to be. Right? I mean, there's parts of the Diablo system that I like. There's parts of the Destiny system that I like. There's also parts from Borderlands that I like, where you get to see your guns automatically. You see them right there. I don't have to take them anywhere. They're there. I can use them right then. That's something that I really like. I don't want to have to go and decrypt them. But the problem is you need more. If you want to do something like Borderlands, you need more guns, more variety, and more options. And they don't have that currently in Anthem, right? There's only a certain set of things. Yes, they can change some of the inscriptions, but that's not really going to change a whole lot. Because there really is. I mean, it's a very limited amount of weapon variety in Anthem. There's maybe how many? Just out off the top of my head, maybe 30 something weapons.
There's 24 different weapon types.
Okay, so 24 different weapon types, and they have
No, not 24 different weapon types. Sorry,
24
I think
different.
there's 24 different weapons.
Yeah, so I mean,
assault rifle has 3, like the sniper rifle has 3. Some of them have 2 or whatever, but there's not that much variety.
there's not that much. So I mean, they need to create much more variety in their weapons. Their weapons are super generic and basic, and they need to. I mean, we've talked about this in depth, with their legendary system, and I really think it was a mistake the way they chose the rarities. I think Masterwork should have been the top, and legendary should have been underneath it. And there's so many things that I think needs to be reworked. So I mean, in theory, their system would be entirely new when it comes back if I had my way. But when they update it and change it, but yeah, I mean, they would need pieces from multiple games. For the system that I want, it's bits and pieces of everything that I enjoy from multiple games. So I really don't have a problem with bringing those all in. I don't want them to copy 100% one game of what they do, because I don't think one game has everything that I want currently.
So it's got to be a mixture of everything. So I agree. I mean, this is something we have no idea what they're working up. We don't know what their plans are. They haven't said much of anything about the loot. They're probably not going to until they're ready for it. So we're just gonna have to see how it turns out, I guess. I mean, if once we see it, hopefully we'll see it in the PTR or the PFE or the I forget what they're calling it. What they're calling
player test environment.
There you go. So once we see it there, hopefully we'll have a chance to actually get some feedback to the team before the game releases, unlike how the beta or the alpha or the demo or whatever we were calling it came out. So, all right, JD. So you wanted to talk about the earnings call. So I will let you take this away. There's been a lot of talk about it on the internet. So what did you want to touch here on the earnings call?
Well, I can't remember if it came out just before we recorded the podcast or after we recorded the podcast last week. But anyways, EA did their earnings call, and they had a transcript of the whole thing, and they said some pretty both sobering and reassuring things about Anthem. Couple of key quotes is we are similarly committed to the live service of Anthem, or live service for Anthem, and delivering for our community in this new IP over the long term. The launch of Anthem in Q4 did not meet our expectations. However, we believe in the team at BioWare, and we also believe in what they set out to achieve with this game, building a new IP and melding genres to reach a new audience. They say that players have spent more than 150 million hours in Anthem since launch, that they're aware of the problems, they've heard the feedback from the community, and they go on to say, quote, "The team is now very focused on continued improvements to the game and will then bring more content, update, and in-game events that will enhance and expand the Anthem experience." They say a lot more in the transcript. You can find it with a simple Google search. But they did mention that they did a little bit better this year in terms of kind of digital sales. by about 10% because of Anthem, which is cool. They talk about, well, they say, quote, "It's a great original IP, and we've doubled down on the product." And while a lot of people really focused on the fact that Anthem, like basically EA admitted that Anthem didn't meet their expectations, I think the bigger point here to focus on is the fact that they are stating, and their plan is to double down on Anthem. They've heard the feedback. They appear to believe in it, and they've made it very clear that it's not something they're going to just up and abandon. At least not at this moment. If you're one of those people who's like, well, that doesn't mean that it's safe forever in the future either. But I know for me, it was
Nothing's
reassuring.
ever
But
safe.
What do you guys think?
Unless it's Halo.
No one's safe. No one's safe.
Playing devil's advocate though, but they're not going to come out in the earnings call and say that, hey, we're scrapping this, right? We just spent
It's
millions of dollars on this thing and we're scrapping it.
I don't know what did they do after Mass Effect Andromeda.
I mean, they didn't really. I don't remember the earning call for that one particularly well off the top of my head, but they didn't say that they were going to continue to support it. They just kind of said, yeah, it happened. And maybe this is me. I'm no expert in business like William from Your Anthem is, but I feel like it's a bad move to really openly acknowledge how bad a product is in a shareholder meeting, or like when you're talking to your shareholders, because that implies that the people who are handling your money are making mistakes, and that's not exactly something that you want to have them think.
Nope.
But at the same time, like, they didn't have to go out of their way to say that they're doubling down on the project. They didn't have to go out of their way to say that they're working on improving it, that they're putting effort into fixing things and addressing feedback. So, like, while I get the concern, like, it's reassuring to me, but then again, I'm not everybody. So
yeah, I think really they need, two kind of teams like Bungie's been doing for a while, where they had two teams. They have one team that's really working on the big expansion stuff that's coming down the line, and then they have live service. And right now, live service needs to keep putting out stuff in the World of Anthem that we have. They need to keep patching things and that kind of stuff. I don't know what the team structure is for BioWare and for Anthem, but they really need to have, that was kind of almost also created a problem from the end of Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, because the people working on Destiny 2 were working on a completely different game environment. Everything was so different with new tool sets and everything else that a lot of the stuff from Destiny 1 didn't carry over, and that caused a huge problem, So there's definitely a lot of issues, they need to remake a lot of stuff, create new things, to really improve Anthem. The core gameplay is really fun. Like they stated, the game looks great. It's fun to fly around in and you're traveling, but there's a lot of problems with everything else, basically. And so they need to fix that, but they also need to have the people that can do that. But they can't just say, hey, we're not going to put anything out for 6 months or a year, and because then the game will just basically die, and then they'd have to relaunch it. So they need to have the people that are working on continually updating the game. Like right now, there's, we kind of talked about it last week. There's not really much to do. It was great playing the new Stronghold for a little bit, and then hopefully we'll hear more about the Cataclysm here real soon, to give us more to play and more to do in Anthem, and reasons for people to come back and play it and check it out again. And but yeah, no, I think they're in a difficult place. But another thing they did say that you didn't mention was also about their digital sales. Was the fact that this was the largest digital sales that they'd had of any of their games ever. And so, a lot of people when it first came out were like, "Oh, Anthem only sold this many physical copies," but I believe it was like over 60 or 70% of the game sales were digital, something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but it was way more than they thought.
Do you think they're including subscriptions to EA Premier Access Ultra Prime or whatever?
Origin Access Premier? Probably, if they want to boost the numbers, I'm guessing, maybe, but I don't know.
Because we do know from just reading the internet and a lot of people that have said, hey, they ponied up the $15 a month in order to try out Anthem. So I'm wondering how that's included. Maybe they can generate on their end, hey, this
Yeah.
person subscribed for this month. They played this many hours of Anthem. This was like the sole reason for them to sign up this month. So I don't know how much that puts into it, but even then, I mean, we all know that everything's going digital nowadays. So we've got Microsoft putting out an all digital Xbox, and
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I bought a physical video game. So all hail the digital future that we have.
Only on
coming in.
accident is when I buy them. Isn't that right, Mike?
Right. And so, Devin, I mean, you brought up a good point when we talk about things to do. Every week we kind of do a little check-in on seeing out what we're doing in the game and how we're doing. So, Mike, what was your Anthem like this past week? What were the goals that you were trying to complete in the game?
Getting coin, doing the daily activities. That's about it. Coin, so I can get some cool stuff from the store.
Like, so how much coin did you earn this week through the activities?
So through how I play, and it's like playtime has tapered way off for me for a lot of different reasons. But I earn about 3,500 coin a week.
A week?
Right?
3,500 a week?
Yeah, we had this conversation a couple weeks ago that I have been earning coin the wrong way. And I have tried to. I think there is a correct way by completing the challenges with the different guns and with the different abilities and the different javelins and stuff. So there is a way to up it. I understand that my coin earnings are low, so don't anybody lose their mind. Like, I know that it's not where it should be. Okay.
But it's not where it should be in general for the game, though, right? The game needs to give out way more coins.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree with
you
that.
have to earn coin by completing all those challenges. Eventually, those challenges are going to stop because you're going to have them done, and then the only coin is through your daily, your weeklies. So
right, and so there needs to be and it seems like, and again, with the way wrong that I have been doing it, because it happens, I do things wrong every now and then. So that's what I've been doing. I've been going for coin to get stuff out of the store. I've been not really chasing legendaries, but every time I do get a legendary, I see how it fits in the current build I have and what I need to do to change that build to maximize the legendaries that I do have. Because obviously, you try to equip that legendary first to make sure, because it should, in theory, have legendary abilities on it. Right? So you look at that to see how it's going to work out with the current build you have. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you get a legendary that is very maybe ranged. It has a stat on it that uses a frost grenade versus an inferno grenade or something. So you just look at tweaking builds and building that number, going in, testing guns, testing numbers to see what is good. And so that's about it. Nothing super like I've got to get in and do this. I've got to get in and do that. So yeah, that's where I landed this week.
Cool. Devin, where did you land this week?
So I logged in for the new cosmetic items, and I logged in to go over my build, and because we're going to talk about that if we have time later. That's about it. Like this week, I haven't really played much Anthem. I've just been doing work things, and then I've also been playing Sea of Thieves. So I'm hoping Anthem can do what Sea of Thieves have done. Going from a game that's fun at the core and not having much content to a year from there having a ton of content and a lot of fun things to do. So it gives me hope for what Anthem can be, and something I'm looking for.
Very cool. JD, where have you been this week?
I popped in a couple of times this week, trying out, to get the new cosmetic items and check that out. Ended up customizing my javelin for a good while, testing out different color schemes, trying to change it up. I tried to play some strongholds and world events because I'm really close to finishing that challenge of Valor. Finally, I only need 20 more world events, and I don't know what it's been about this most recent update, but for whatever reason, I cannot seem to finish a mission without getting disconnected from the server. It's
Wow.
been a kind of big problem for me recently, and it's actually kind of discouraging because I'll be like, what was it? What happened this last week? I was playing the Sunken Cell, and I probably sunk in about 10, 15 minutes of time into it. And what ended up happening was we were in the area leading up to the boss fight, and I get that screen in the middle saying like connecting to server and things like that. And then all of a sudden, I get kicked to the loading screen. I try to rejoin, I get back in, and then it comes up again, and I end up basically getting cycled in and out, and I wasn't able to rejoin because I guess they finished the boss fight while I was like after I loaded out. The screen is long, the loading screen is long, so it was like at least a minute or 3 minutes
Too
between.
many jokes I thought of right there.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where I ended up landing. I was trying to play, I just couldn't. I don't know if there's an ongoing issue or not, but I did make an effort to play this week or try to play this week, and it was cut short. So,
Man, it sounds like Anthem is having an issue even keeping us interested here. I've actually been playing quite a bit. I've been running Heart of Rage, Grandmaster 1, loot runs, doing that a bunch. Having some pretty decent success. You know, every now and then I'll get a legendary or two, but mainly I'll get about 4 masterworks per run. I have been getting a lot of masterworks. Let's say I get one of the, I forget the name of one of the pistols. I'll get one of the masterwork pistols, and it'll have shotgun perks on it, which is pretty interesting. I thought they had fixed that, but they have not apparently. So that's what I've been doing. Grandmaster 1, and it seems like there's always 4 people in there. If I do it on Grandmaster 2, sometimes I'll have maybe 2, maybe there'll be 3 of us. It's pretty rare recently that there's been 4 of us in there, but Grandmaster 1, there's always a full crew, and we get through that pretty quickly. I think that is the most efficient and quickest way to run for Legendary, so that is what I have been doing, trying to figure out new builds and get some new weapons. So, I mean, it's fun. I've been enjoying it. I've been, maybe it's just because I've been playing the Heart of Rage so much, but all the new voice lines just seem super cringy to me. Like we ask the monitor after the monitor gets huge, we ask it if it's gotten new shoes, and then we make a comment that we're going to be able to beat up the monitor before we go out and make it back for dinner. So it's just there's some really weird new dialogue in the Stronghold that it's almost like, you know, it's almost Ninja Turtles cartoon-esque dialogue, where it's just kind of down to that level. Like
Good stuff.
I don't. It's really weird. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but it just seems really weird to me, especially in like a sci-fi setting. It's like,
juvenile.
yeah, maybe I don't want to say it's like, maybe it is. Maybe it's just like young adult. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the vibe
Yeah.
I'm getting from all the new dialogue. So pretty interesting. I'm still having fun, and I'm hoping that we're going to see a lot of new stuff. And I am not bashing. Logan says I'm bashing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm not bashing it. It's great for the time. I mean, those are one of the things that was probably back in 1986. So the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. So, all right, guys, we are only 20 days away from EA Play 2019. Probably our next look at anything that we are going to get to see about Anthem. I predict that we're probably not going to hear about any updates, any patches, any changes that are going to take place until then, which is really sad because 22 days away was zero communication attached to the zero communication we've had for the past, how long has it been? Like 3 weeks since we've kind of been dark?
Well,
It's
since
gotta
the last
has it
patch,
been
there's
long?
been zero communication.
Since the last patch. Wow. I guess if we
Which
made
that
it
was
this
just last
longer-
week, right? So I mean,
We gotta remember that this time last year we were going off of like how many months of no news of any kind at this point?
And I think we
True.
can kind of forgive that because I mean, we have the game now, right?
Yeah.
Kind of hard to forgive the silence when the game is out, and you know there is a lot of feedback on things that we can do. So I mean, it's to think that it's going to be 22 more days of nothing, unless there is just like hot fixes and stuff. I mean, I can't imagine them coming out and saying anything before EA Play. Do you, Mike?
I stranger things have happened. I wouldn't put it past them, but I don't think I'm holding my breath either. And I don't again, I don't know if that's a bad thing. I mean, maybe they're all heads down working, which is what we would hope and what we would hope for them to do. If we get something great, if not, I don't think it's gonna hurt my feelings.
I mean,
I'm just kind of like I'm a hearer guy. I'm like, okay, that's cool. You know,
you just show up and you're like, oh, I guess there's a
kinda-
thing to talk about.
you know what? Sometimes I feel like that it's just, you know what, we'll get what we get, and we'll get it when we get it. We can't shake a magic wand and get it there faster. So, and again, I think I'd like to assume positive intentions and know that they're diligently working, because you don't have something that you're passionate about and then not diligently work at it.
Yep.
So I mean,
Man, you were
and,
way
and,
more
and,
patient than me.
and I'm
like,
not and I'm not saying we have those feelings here. I mean, 25% of us might have those feelings that we have to have all the things now, and but
JD,
you
honestly,
keep saying I
gosh.
want all the things now. That's not true. I just want
well,
something now. That's it.
well,
I don't want
I
everything.
understand that,
just want-
but why do you get to have what you want? I mean,
I don't get to have what I want. We've gone like the last 30 days was nothing. We're going to go 22 more days with nothing. So I'm not getting what I want. You're getting exactly what you want.
And they're in a hard place, right? So
I think they are in a hard place, and that's what they say, and I think that
That's what who says? Who says it?
the people, they say it.
the people say
Yeah,
that.
they.
So they are in a hard spot. It's evident by everything going on and everything that we talk about when we get together and talk about Anthem. I think we understand it. No, I shouldn't say that. We don't understand it, but we understand it, if that makes any sense. Like,
We understand to our level of comprehension, right? So
absolutely, it's got
That's
to be
what it is.
tough when JD told us that the market share came out and said that expectations weren't met and things weren't done the way they wanted. So I'm sure they're having to regroup. We've all had those times at work where the project hasn't worked out exactly the way we wanted it, so we had to retool and relook and reshape and do all that stuff. So I get it. I don't want to be the anxious consumer, and I really don't mean to say that anybody here is. I think we all have some angst that we want a great product and it's not here yet, and we're anxious and hopeful for it. But really, I mean, what can we do except wait just a little bit longer? So I don't know, Steve. I don't know. Yeah.
I think that's pretty well said.
Prediction is what we can do.
make some predictions.
All right, so we did this probably around episode 67. We did a whole prediction game that I like making up these stupid games that Mike hates to play for some reason. So what I want to do, we're going to do a couple predictions. We got to go to EA Play last year, so we kind of have an idea what's going to happen there. So we're just going to take turns making some predictions, writing down our score. If we have callers that want to jump into our Discord, we'll bring them in so that they can give their predictions on the air as well. So we'll do that. So first prediction, I'll start this off. So the way this game works is one of us makes a prediction and the other three rate how likely that prediction is to come true. So if the rater gives that prediction a low score, that means they also agree that that's more likely to happen. And that way, when that prediction comes true, the person that made the prediction will get less points. So if I were to say, let's see, if I were to say something like there's going to be 142 new javelins announced at EA Play, my co-host would rank that as a number 10 because it's very unlikely to happen. In which case, if it does happen, I would get a lot of points for making that prediction. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Are we all on the same page?
Same page.
You get the points or we get the points? We're back to this again.
Whoever makes the prediction gets those points. So if it's your prediction and it's correct, you get the points that the other people have voted. Whatever, the 1 through 10, whatever that adds up to, you get those points if your prediction is correct. If they agree with you, it's a low number. If they don't agree with you, it's a high number. So
And we're keeping these predictions like very positive and very
yeah,
upbeat,
whatever
and
you
we're
want
not
it to
gonna
be, it's a
like.
prediction.
Well, no, but I'm saying like we're not gonna
You could
dog
say
like. I mean, because we're not that group, right?
we can be whoever
If I
we
have
want
a
to be.
negative prediction, then it's not that much of a negative prediction. So I'll start, okay? And then you guys
No,
can.
it's
then we'll go.
just
Just make your prediction. Don't be scared.
I'm not.
okay.
I will stand by my predictions. All right.
I
So
know you will,
prediction
but
number
like, Steve. All right, go ahead.
one, my first prediction is we're going to get a sneak peek at a new javelin. Whether that's like a 1 second look at the new javelin, or they're going to say, "Hey, and we've got a new javelin coming." My prediction for EA Play 2019 is that we are going to see a new javelin. So, what do you guys think? Bold prediction, going to happen? How do you rank this prediction?
I'll
I
give
will
it.
give you 5 points.
Middle of the road for Mike.
I'll give you 4 points, but I think that'll just piss people off more than anything at this point.
Why would that piss people off if they have a new one in the works?
Because yeah, oh hey, you got a new javelin, but everything else in the game is broken. So
Yeah, but I mean that's not like that person that's making a new javelin specifically was like supposed to be working on other systems.
I know.
that's
I mean,
still
it's just some. I mean, it's just a dumb reason for people to be upset because they're like, well, you should, instead of wasting time on making new javelins, you should be fixing the game. And it's like, obviously, there are different people within the studio that do those things, right? There's character artists. They're not working on programming to fix what's there. They're making content and art for the game. Designers are designing new javelins and abilities and skills. So I mean, there's different things that are going to come out, but people are, like we've talked about, people are going to be pissed off about things no matter what. So I mean, they have a long road ahead. But I agree with the 4.
Okay. Are you saying the internet's going to be the internet? Is that your prediction,
Yeah,
Devin? Should
the
we
internet,
put
a
it down?
bunch of.
All right, JD, give me your rating here.
I'm gonna give it a 7. And it's kind of for the reasons that Devin said. I don't think it's a very good idea to announce a new javelin yet. So I don't think that it's a good idea, and I hope they don't do it.
That will be. I'm excited when we see that because I have all the insider info. Devin, what is your first prediction?
All right, so my first prediction is they add horses. No, just kidding. No. Yeah. No. What's this?
Hold
Let's
on, real
see.
quick. I'm going to bring in Black Zenith here because
Okay.
they've been waiting in our call, and we are going to ask Black Zenith what their prediction is.
Sounds good.
I'm going to see if this works here. I'm going to start this call. Actually, you can give your prediction until he gets in, Devin.
Okay. So they're going to finally give us a wooden javelin. Final. That's my prediction.
Black Zenith, hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome.
Hey,
Good. How are you guys?
We are doing good. We're making predictions of what is going to happen over at EA Play 2019. Do you have a sweet prediction for us?
Yeah, sure. I think the prediction would be maybe some content that can lend itself to a raid.
Ooh.
Ah.
Are you thinking of more of, so when you say raid, describe your vision of an Anthem raid for us.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I actually enjoy Anthem and I enjoy the latest Stronghold that they put out.
Mhm.
And there are some obstacles in that Stronghold that I think, little minor things could have made it tougher and qualify it for maybe a raid layer.
Okay.
I was happy to see obstacles that kind of, they were easy, but I would like to think that BioWare was just kind of testing the water with their audience and their matchmaking, given all the difficulties that you can matchmake into and see what people were capable of without that communication factor, that teamwork factor. But unquote, I was really like, man, this could be tweaked just a little bit, and it would require maybe a clan to communicate a little bit and maybe qualify it as a raid layer. So I hope maybe a prediction would be content that lends itself to that.
Yeah, and I think you're right because having the little puzzles that were thrown in there, having the man, it's the really cool room that has all the laser beams around it that you got to hit the plates to deactivate to fly around. Those kind of give you a sense of okay, this is more like a Destiny raid than just a stronghold because there's other activities that you have to do. And I think you're right, not having the communication, they kind of have to tone those down for their first outing. So I do think that they were testing a lot of things with a sunken cell, and I really enjoyed the sunken cell. It's my
Yeah,
favorite stronghold. I
it's
don't
cool.
run it a lot just because it's faster to farm legendaries in Heart of Rage, but design wise, it did feel more raid like than anything else that we had. So I hope they have learned from that. I hope they've taken a lot of cues from that. I think it'd be really beneficial if, hey, we've got to update our drops here so people can actually be in this, thing playing it so we can get more feedback from it. But yeah, I would love to see something a little bit more in depth because right now a lot of the strongholds are just, point and shoot until it's dead and there's not a lot of raid communication going on at all.
Right.
But
And for
right on,
me
like
in my clan, I have an in real life clan. It's pretty small, but that's something that they definitely would be looking forward to get into Anthem. I haven't actually gotten them into Anthem. The first thing they were like, "Well, what's the end game like?" And I was like,
and you're like, don't ask me that question, man.
Don't ask me that. Don't ask me that question.
No,
"Moment,
no
please."
comment. No comment.
Yeah, and that's
I was
tough because
actually grinning.
and it's
Nice.
tough because you want people to get in the game. You want to enjoy it because I'm very much like you. I enjoy playing the game and I want more people to have that enjoyment also. So as they build things out, hopefully at EA Play we'll be able to see what their, a new idea for whatever they're showing with the Cataclysm. Maybe that'll incorporate some of those ideas. So I hope eventually your real life clan comes and joins you so that you guys can, have the fun that we all have while we're playing the game. So Black Zenith, I
Well,
appreciate the
no,
call.
Yeah,
Thank you
no
for
problem.
listening. And I guess we need to ask you what javelin you're maining because we forgot to ask you that.
oh, yeah, I mean a storm.
That's right.
Nice.
Storm Master Race. Are you, so what gear are you using? I'm curious.
So for my GM3, I'll mainly run Winter's Wrath, uh, Black Ice, Railner's Blade, and Yavena.
See, and I haven't gotten Rainer to
Ooh.
Blaze yet, but I have been running Thunderbolt Evina, which is that so far is my favorite gun, just because of the procs on the Thunderbolt. So
Oh,
I've
but
had a
that
lot of
round
fun.
blaze. Ooh, that's some good stuff. Priming. Ooh, good stuff.
Yeah, with the priming with Winter's Wrath, I tend to kind of melt them a little bit with the Railners, and then I can follow up with the Black Ice. So it's kind of like a triple prime situation because Black Ice will also prime if there are other enemies around after you detonate or strike an enemy.
Very cool.
I tend to play the storm role and doing a lot of priming for my interceptors and Colossus. I don't even try to
Hmm,
compete with detonate with those guys around. So
I
actually,
like it.
roles for
I wish the storm I played with did that.
Whatever. I don't do that. But I mean, you're playing Grandmaster 3, so you need to be priming. So how do you feel your survivability as a storm is in Grandmaster 3?
my survivability is pretty good. That's pretty much where my gameplay exists is to survive. I mean, I don't like to go down. Even in Destiny, that was my biggest concern was going down. So I tend to be very mobile. I stick and move, stick and move, stick and move, and until I get maybe a 1v1 situation or a 2v1 like those snipers, then I'll probably come down
Deadly.
and just start priming melee, prime melee till they're dead. But if there's a lot of enemies around, I think Storm just can switch up a lot. They can hover. If there's too many enemies around and they're focusing on you because you're hovering in the air, you have no cover, and you can get on the ground. You can kind of play cover based like a ranger. And once it thins out a little bit, just go back in the air and start hovering and kind of controlling the battlefield. So I do enjoy keeping my distance, and Storm kind of fits me a lot. But lately, with the content being where it is, I've actually been able to explore all the other javelins and appreciate what they bring to the table. So slowly but surely, the other ones are kind of growing on me.
Yeah, it's kind of a good opportunity to branch out now that we've kind of have hit a lull in things to come. So, like Zenith, we appreciate the call. Thanks for listening and hanging out and being part of our community. And we'll catch you later.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for dropping in. Appreciate you.
Okay.
All right, great call from Black Zenith. So if anyone else would like to call, you can just jump over into our Discord chat, talk it up. Any questions you want. If you want to talk about EA Player, if you have any other question, you can do that too. All right, Devon. So your prediction was...
Oh, you don't remember? No, just kidding. It was the wooden javelin wrap, vinyl wrap.
Okay. Wooden javelin wrap. JD, what do you give Devon's prediction here for a wooden javelin wrap?
I mean, I want it to happen so bad, but I gotta give that like an 8. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Sarah Marie says that's a 10. It's not going to happen. Mike, what do you give the wooden javelin wrap?
Highest is 10, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 1412.
Woo! Lots of points for me. I happen to know that I don't know anything.
We know.
I understand that you don't.
We've been talking about it a lot.
That's
I'm
good.
gonna say that
We don't know.
it's definitely gonna
I don't
happen.
know
All right,
lots
Mike,
of
first
stuff.
prediction. I forget how long this game is.
This is a long game and it can go long. So my first prediction, EA Play 2019, it is going to be revealed that that we are going to get more, I guess not revealed, but we will be getting a more content focused around the Urgoth.
Okay.
I give it a 2.
I
Thanks
give
a lot.
it. I give it a. I give it a 4. Yeah.
I agree
I give it a 1
with you.
Why do you give it a 1?
He agrees
because
with you.
it's going to happen.
Oh, you think? Yeah. Why?
Yeah, I'm like, it's going to happen big time. And we've already saw it at the end of the game. Spoilers if you haven't gotten to the end of the game yet, but we see an Urgoth there. So this would be the likely time to tell us.
We
I mean,
also-
unless they're just gonna
we
show us
also
categories.
saw we also saw a cosmetic store. So there
I'm
you
going to
go.
give you a 10, Mike.
When did you see a cosmetic store? I don't recall that.
All right. JD, your first prediction.
My first prediction is that we will get at least 2 new strongholds.
Give that a 10.
I'm going to give that a 10 as well. Mike? JD, when you said we're going to get at least 2 new strongholds, do you mean they're going to announce it, or we're going to get them at EA Play, or that's going to happen before the end of the year?
Okay, yeah, I get that from my wording. I think they're going to announce 2 new strongholds to be released before the end of summer.
I will still give that a 10. Mike, what do you give it?
10. It's not gonna happen, sir.
Points for
Four,
JD, maybe.
Yeah, you can get all these points, JD, if you work on that. All right, prediction number 2. So, Mike, you don't want me to read my second prediction? I thought this would be a fun prediction.
read it.
Anytime we go anywhere, you know what? I'm going to change this
Mike-
prediction. This will be more topical from the last time we went to EA Play. So I predict that I will get walked in on the bathroom by 3 people while we're
I give that a 1.
Did that actually happen?
Last year he got walked twice. It happened to him last year.
What?
Because
I never heard about this.
pants down, walking in. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Seriously?
Yeah. Steven, and they were both Asian men, weren't they, Steven?
They were, I don't think that was like a reason for it.
That's just who is attracted to Steven, maybe. I don't know. But
This is just. Wow.
it was a fun road trip. Every time we stopped, he should have asked Mike and I to guard the door for him, I guess. But
I know, I think they did very well up there. So,
we'll be like, yeah, we'll guard the door. Oh, no, nobody's in there. You can use it.
We
I'm going to
have
say 2 people this year.
fallen down a rabbit hole. We have
Oh.
Prediction, so I changed it. Mike, your prediction rating.
On what was it, Steve? I'm sorry, we kind of got lost.
3. He's gonna be walked in 3 times.
Walked in 3 times.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen again. I'm gonna go 10.
All right, JD.
I am just totally shocked by this. I'm gonna give it a 6.
All right, 6. Devon, prediction number 2 for EA Play 2019.
We're gonna be able to play Anthem for a full hour.
For a full hour?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm going to give that an 8. Because that's a long time.
That's a really long time.
Sarah Marie gives that a 4. I guess if there's not that many people there wanting to get into the Anthem line, you could probably do like the whole Splash Mountain thing, where you just stay on the log and they just keep going around and around.
Yeah, that could happen if no one's in line behind you.
Devon,
Wow,
someone
this
from
is
chat
awesome.
someone from chat asked if you could turn your volume down.
Steven,
must be really hard.
Steven tells me to turn it up. Someone tells me to turn it down.
Well, I tell you to turn it up because I'm recording you from this side, so I don't know.
Let me see. I'll walk over here.
Mike, your prediction. You're gonna walk over here.
Walking this way. Okay, I turned
Mike,
my
your
mic
prediction.
on. Maybe that's
Being able
better.
to play Anthem for a full hour.
You let me know.
My points, I'm gonna go 5.
JD,
I'm gonna give that a 3.
really? You think you're gonna be able to play for that long?
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, your prediction.
For EA Play 2019, my second prediction is, did I say 18? 2019. My second prediction is that we will get to see some never before seen how is it? New cinematics, new like story
Cutscene?
Yeah, that's the word.
Wow, you really struggled to get that one out.
They
Struggling.
really did. There's a new super important cutscene that we're gonna see that's gonna explain kind of the next what's going on.
I'm a
I'll
a
give
new
that a
cutscene?
4.
I like it.
JD, what do you give it? Because I'm having a really hard time thinking that they're going to do a full cinematic cutscene
They're
for
not
a
gonna
Cataclysm.
You don't think they're going to show you content?
I don't think they're gonna show the entire scene, but I think they'll show like a clip of it or something. So I'll give that a 4.
You guys don't seem very sure on it either, because I'm thinking if they're going to show off a Cataclysm isn't necessarily story content. Because I would expect a cinematic. So when was the last time we got a cinematic in the game? Was there any time, except for during the critical path, we had full cinematics?
No, but I mean, we know they've been recording them though, so
Yeah, they
that's
have.
the
They
whole
have
thing.
been producing them. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
a
don't know, it's
cataclysm.
kinda
It's a huge major event in the world. They gotta have some kind of
believe-
cinematics. It's not just gonna be like, hey, there's a dude in the bar you should talk to learn more about this, but we're not gonna tell you that there's a dude in the bar you should talk to learn more about this, and we're just
that's a
gonna
possibility of something
send
that
you
could
in there.
happen.
Hello there, freelancer. I have a quest
Mike-
for you.
So, Mike, are you going full cinematic, or will like an in-game cinematic count also? Like if
Full
they just-
cinematic.
So fully rendered, done by, fully rendered, not just in-game cutscene. I'm
Right.
gonna say 8 because I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't have a feeling that they're gonna have a fully cinematic cutscene for it.
Believe
As much
in
as I would
something,
love
man.
to do, I should believe in
Your
things.
lack of faith
but
is disturbing.
Do you
JD,
believe?
your next prediction. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes, my next prediction is that it is going to be cloudy at EA Play this time.
Ooh, I like that. I'm hoping it will be. It was hot
I'm gonna give
last year.
you a 10.
Give you a 5.
Way to be non-committal, Devin. Mike.
See,
I mean, but like,
listeners,
But like, it's
This is
not
the
hard to
thing.
look at a weather forecast, right?
I mean, like I haven't seen a lot of weather forecasts that go to more than 2 weeks out. However, I have lived in California, specifically Southern California, for 27 years, so I do have an advantage.
27 years. I like it.
Yes. Well, I've seen the sun longer than you have, so
That is also true.
It's a
That-
lie.
that is
Mike's a
true.
vampire. He doesn't see the sun.
That is true.
Oh
Give me a
my-
number, Mike.
0.
1 through
0 is
10.
Oh, 1 through 10, 1.
All right. Mike agrees that it'll be cloudy. All right. Third prediction. I think we'll go only 3 predictions here, unless you
I
guys
like
want
it.
to go the full 5.
Nope,
We'll go
that's
3.
good.
3's good.
All right. So at
Rule of
EA
threes.
Play 2019, we are going to see more than 10 stormtroopers walking around.
I give
Like 10
that
different-
8.
But you're not counting like the same stormtrooper 10 times?
There will be 8 different stormtroopers on location.
8 different?
10. Sorry, 10 different stormtroopers on location. 10 is the number.
I'll give that a 5. Are there many scheduled to appear? I don't.
There's
I
the
don't
new
understand.
Star Wars game. Maybe you haven't heard of it.
How many
Actually,
trombones?
haven't.
Haven't heard of it.
I actually haven't.
It's
So
kind of pretty
there.
big news. I don't know.
It's
There were
not
2
that big if I
stormtroopers
haven't
last
heard about it.
They also have a Battlefront 2 game that they are still supporting.
Okay, so then I predict there will be 17 Battlefronts there.
17 battle.
It's new to the
I don't
Star
think that
Wars.
helps.
Man,
I like it.
bunch
Mike's
of
playing the long game. We'll check back in 30 years.
JD, what's your prediction here? 10 stormtroopers. 10 different, unique stormtroopers.
Me? Sorry. Yeah. I predict that they are going to announce changes to the feature.
No. He wants
Right.
your number. He wants
needs
whether
a
1 to
number.
10, JD. 1
Oh,
to 10. 1 to 10.
I'm sorry. I've got. Yeah, I did a bit. I'll take a 5, sir.
And this is why we're only doing 3. All right, your prediction.
My prediction. I predict there will be 10 plus. No, just kidding.
This has just gone places now.
Yeah, so I predict we have trouble getting into EA Play on our first day.
All right. Why? Just because of like weather, we got lost. Mike forgot his shoes.
Because our passes will be messed up.
All right. I'm going to give that a 1. Mike,
10. Everything is gonna go.
Mike believes in the system.
He has faith
JD,
in
I
the
can go.
organizer.
I'm going to give this one a 6.
all right. JD also has faith in the system. Mike, your third and final prediction.
It was in my head.
What's in your head?
Was it about Battlefronts?
It wasn't about Battlefront. It was about there will be. This was going to be pretty easy, so I'm just banking on my 4 points here that I'm going to get, or my 3 points, however many it is. But there will be a photo op with the 4 javelin suits.
Oh,
Mm.
I'm going to put a 10 on this one.
They had those last year, so I don't know why they wouldn't bring them this year.
Steven
know why-
apparently doesn't think so.
I'll give that a 1.
That's what I thought.
I'm also gonna give this one a 10.
Yeah, I
JD
don't think
does-
they bring him out.
They were advertising it last year when it was a hot new thing and before a lot of things happened. So I don't see them doing that again.
Don't make me snap my fingers, JD.
Yeah, no one
I'll
asked for an
snap
explanation.
my
JD.
fingers.
JD, your last prediction.
I predict that they will announce major changes to the featured store.
I'll give that a 10. Devon, Mike.
Man. Where's my faith going with this?
Soul
7.
Searcher Devon.
I don't think they're talking about the store at all. They said 0 about the store since launch.
I'm gonna have to go with 10. My
Nate,
lack of
Devon
faith
gives it-
is disturbing.
Mike,
but well
7.
placed.
a 7. Mike has more faith. Sarah gives it a 5. So, all right. So looking at our predictions, Ray Up gives it a 9. Also, yeah, I don't think they're, man, maybe I would not complain if they did say that they were going to,
Yeah,
change it up.
I hope they
I
do.
would be happy to give you those 10 points, JD, if they start talking about what they're going to do with the
I hope I'm right. I hope I'm right.
We can all help. All right. So total points that we
12.
can earn after EA play. So I can earn 17. Mike can earn 8. Devon can earn 18. Mike can earn 15. And JD can earn 24 points if all this pans out. So it'll be very interesting. Okay. So someone in the chat says
Yeah.
prediction someone will have an anti-anthem poster or sign like a protester at EA play.
Did they allow
23.
signs last year? I don't think they did.
No, they didn't have any signs last
There
year.
was
I
like
don't even-
zero signs anywhere. But I mean, they had posters that they gave out. So
It's true they did give out posters. So unless someone wants to go through the trouble to write their own poster, that'll be interesting. But I think these will be some fun predictions. I think we're gonna have a fun time as we go down there, regardless of how the event pans out. It's always fun to hang out, get to see a bunch of you that are going to be out there with us. So if you are also headed to EA Play 2019. Shoot us a message. We'll get together. We'll say hi. Hang out for a bit. We'll stand in lines together. It'll be a great time. So
take all
if
the
you're headed out there,
pictures,
let us know.
all the
So
four
really
javelins.
quick. Yeah. So really quick, Devon. So Gareth, one of our patron members, wrote in last time. We had a really good discussion about, expectations about Anthem, and Gareth wrote in again and wanted to know what other builds we were trying out because he really liked when we started talking about new builds I was trying with the Storm. So Devin, we put it on you to kind of do like a Javelin build of the week talk.
Mhm.
So I want to know what you have been running recently, and maybe everyone else that is an Interceptor main also would like to know what you're running.
All right, yeah. So mine is kind of similar to what you did, where you're running a more weapon-focused build, right? So a lot of my stuff has additional weapon damage or ability, to cause more weapon damage for short bursts of time. So I'll start out with my weapons. I'm using Elemental Rage. The main thing for that is I have plus 175% weapon damage and plus 150% damage, physical damage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I have the Ralner's Blaze, and that one I'm using that because it has plus 250% weapon damage and plus 125% weapon damage. So I have both those weapons. There's nothing else even close to the amount of damage that both of those can do in my weapons. So
How does it compare even to the gear pieces that you're running?
So my gear pieces help some of those things. Like the assault or my assault system, it's Ruthless Striker or Stalker, not Striker. Hitting an enemy increases weapon damage by 110% for 20 seconds, right? And that one has plus 200% gear charges as the main infusion that's on there. So, or inscription. So it's really my build is focused around doing more damage with my weapons because they can do more than any of my other gear pieces could possibly do. The next thing I'm using, let's see here. So for my support, I have Target Beacon. So that one reduces the target's resistance by 33%. It gives me an additional 25% shield, and this is my only piece that has luck on it. It's plus 28% luck. So my strike system is Sudden Death. So it says hitting an enemy detonates a fire explosion. That's just the first part of it. But it gives me plus 225% gear damage and plus 100% gear damage. So this really is my best gear piece that I have. It's good, but I mean it can take out smaller, like a couple mobs of lower, like Grandmaster 1. It can take them out. So if I get surrounded as the Interceptor, I just kind of throw that out there, and I can kind of hop back out and kind of clear some space. The next thing I have here is my components. So I'm using Vengeance Matrix is my first component. It says increases all damage dealt by 50%. And there's also a typo in the text for this component. The next line is damage taken by blank percent. So
Nice.
It doesn't. It's supposed to increase your damage taken also. So it's like it gives you more
Okay.
damage, but you take more damage. But right now the text is broken, so I'm hoping it doesn't give me increased damage. But
But it's hard to
yeah,
tell one way or another right
I
now.
don't know. There used to be text in there before the last update, but I can't remember what it was. So, the next thing is on low armor. So this is the next part of the inscription. On low armor, damage taken reduced by 50% for 10 seconds. And then the only good inscription I have on there is plus 30% ultimate speed. So it helps build my ultimate a little bit faster. Then I have the Talisman of Power. So increase strike by 10%. So this is right bumper hit increases left bumper damage by 60% for 10 seconds. So my left bumper is my what's my assault system. So that increases my damage. So I use that quite a bit. So that helps me increase my damage more often. So let's see. The only good inscription on there I have is plus 20% shield refresh and plus 15% auto rifle ammo because both my weapons are auto rifles, so that helps out to have some more ammo for them. The next component I have is soften blows, so it increases the javelin shield by a large amount. Increases damage resistance.
Can you tell how large amount is? Is there
It's like over 3,000. So it's
okay.
It's over 9,000.
I wish it was over 9,000, but no, it's like a 3,000 and something. I forget the exact amount. I didn't write that part down, but it's just it's the best increase in shield that I have for a component. So the other part it does is increase damage resistance by 75% for 5 seconds when the shield runs out. So once my shield drops, I get a damage reduction for 5 seconds. It also gives me plus 85% shields and plus 25% weak point damage for my inscriptions on that. Let's see here. The next one I have is Symbiotic Surge. So this one, I have one both for shield and one for armor. So this is my armor. It says it increases armor by a large amount. So again, this one, it's over 3,000 for the armor. So both of these, like the armor is really big where it's over 3,000, and then the secondary, which like for the shield, it's larger, and then the armor is only like 300. And the same goes vice versa on this Symbiotic Surge. But it has increased all damage by 50% for 10 seconds when picking up a repair pack. And then I have plus 38% combo and plus 50% armor for my inscriptions on that component. Then I have Way of Salvage. So increase weapon magazine by 30%. And then the ammo drop rate is increased by 50%. And then collecting ammo increases weapon damage by 40% for 10 seconds. All right, so
yeah, that's pretty. And that one's a universal, correct?
Yep. So
yeah, that's actually a really good component that I use also. I mean, it doesn't feel like it or seem like we're reading it. It makes a huge difference. But anytime you pick up an ammo pack,
yeah,
I mean, your damage goes up quite a bit. Unfortunately for the storm, if you have Gunslinger's Mark, that increases your damage while you're hovering. So you kind of have to pick it up again to get back.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does a lot of damage when you pick those up, and especially if they're dropping, 55% more.
Mm-hmm. And that one also gives me a little bit of shield refresh, so plus 18%, and then helps me fly a little bit longer, so plus 13 overheat delay. So then my last component is the Elusive Talisman. So this one increases weapon damage by 25%, and then dashing 3 times refills my equipped weapon magazine. I've also found, for some reason, it says it only reloads my equipped weapon, but in my testing in this last one, it's probably a bug. It also reloads the weapon that I'm not currently using, because I was testing it out with my sniper rifles quite a bit, and I would swap it out to my auto rifle, and it would still reload the sniper rifle when I dashed 3 times. So
interesting. That's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah, guys, depending on who you're talking to. And that one only gives me like the inscriptions. It's just plus 13% repair, and then plus 23% acid, which doesn't really do anything because I used to have acid in my build, but I changed it out in my strike system. So mostly my build is just like shooting. Just using my weapons to destroy them and going in real quick, hitting them and bouncing back out. So I can get my increased weapon damage for like 10 to 20 seconds.
So with the current build that you have, is this something that you have been using a bunch of, or just something you wanted to try out to kind of change it up?
No, I've been using it for about 3 weeks. The only thing I kind of interchange is the strike system. That's the only one I kind of change out. There's a couple different ones depending on what I want to do that I can change to. Like I can have the acid. I forget what the exact word for that one is for that component or gear piece. But basically, I just spray a cloud of acid out and it damages a lot of enemies and gives me also my ultimate faster. It's like +7. It used to say 700% or whatever. I forget what they term it as now, like 7 units or something. They worded it really weird. For the increase in the ultimate. And then I also use one for throwing at my glaives where I can either use the one where it freezes. If I'm doing like man, I'm having brain fart right now. The main stronghold we used to run all the time with the spider.
Sworn Tyrant.
Yeah, Sworn Tyrant. I would use the frost glaive and then the other one which increases the damage of it. So and it gives me 3 of them that I can hook out there, and I can freeze pretty much anything out there really quick and just hit them with my combo. So it just depends on what I'm wanting.
Are there any encounters that you try to avoid that your build just isn't built for?
Really, anything electric really just smokes me. Like any time in the Heart of Rage, once we get to that last phase, like I can survive pretty much everything else, but once we get to the electricity phase, there's nothing in there that reduces that for my build, and so it could be just one single hit and I'll go down.
So avoiding the electricity.
It's my enemy.
So right on, Devon. I appreciate you going in depth on your build. Hopefully, if anyone else is interested in doing that, you've had enough luck to get all those gear pieces. I mean, I'm sure they could probably end up making that same build just in a masterwork version if you don't have the legendaries. I mean, masterworks are pretty easy to get, so there's a lot of guaranteed places where you can get them. So if you also have any tweaks to Devon's build, or if you're like, hey, you should be using this will increase your damage, let us know. You can do that at Freelancer Codex on Twitter. You can send us, you can email us at freelancercodex@gmail.com. Hit us up on Twitter at Freelancer Codex. If you want to support this crazy podcast that we've been doing for almost 2 years, you can do that at patreon.com/freelancercodex. Become one of our patrons. We are ever so grateful for that. The show will always be free, but if you want to lend some support, you can do that there. We appreciate everyone that hung out with us in chat. A lot of new faces there. I'm glad to get to talk with you guys and chat with you. We are excited for Anthem. We're excited for the future of the game. We're excited to see more. Hopefully, we'll be able to see that sooner than later and break a couple of our predictions. I would love to get more information and be able to see some of the new things that are coming down the pipeline. So we might have some exciting news next show for kind of some things that are happening with the Freelancer Codex. We don't want to say anything yet until those things are official, but we're kind of excited for some things that are going to be happening for us. So until next time, unless Mike, JD, Devon, you guys have any parting words of wisdom that you want to share with everyone, I'll let you do that now if you do.
A dry sponge is a happy sponge.
All right, and we will definitely post the Discord chat or the Discord link up into chat for people that want to get in there. And until next time, I think there's a cataclysm on the horizon. We'll see you on the other side.
Discord link, just go to the main YouTube page for it. It's right up there under the Freelancer Codex. There's a link right to our Discord. So that's the easiest way to find it.
And I guess you could do freelancercodex.com. We also have that link there at freelancercodex.com. So until next time, we'll see you on the other side.
Later.
Peace. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter at Freelancer Codex, on Facebook at Freelancer Codex, or through email at freelancercodex@gmail.com. Join the Discord through the link provided at freelancercodex.com. Our show will always be free, but if you'd like to send some support, you may do so at patreon.com/freelancercodex. Our individual Twitter handles are at Stephen Lamson, at mlampson25, at Neverfear, and at JD the Joke Dealer. Freelancers, it's time to get to work.